Hi, it's John coming to you to talk about side hustles, why it's important to have side hustles, a question that a lot of us have before starting a side hustle. And then I'm going to update you on my eight side hustles. And down in the comments, we're going to have a lot of links to those side hustles if you want to check them out, check out some info on them. But also, I'm going to pin a comment. So if you've got side hustles that you're actively working or you have done and you want to comment about them, look down there for a pinned comment, and let's get talking about side hustles. So, side hustles, right? Not your main gig. I'm not going to be talking about what people do for a living. I'm going to talk about side hustles today. And, why is it good to have side hustles? Well, there's a bunch of reasons. First off, we all can use a little extra money from time to time, right? Right now, the market is taking a beating. It's on a roller coaster. Inflation is still going. A lot of groceries have doubled in price in the last few years, right? We had zero inflation for years and years and years. Probably some of that was artificial and prices have caught up. And then there's just been some things that through government action, inaction, products, all kinds of stuff have caused prices to jump. And a side hustle, is a good way to have some extra money. I have a video on the debt snowball. And if you want to get out of debt and you want to get a debt snowball going without affecting your personal budget, maybe a side hustle is a good way to get that debt snowball going and still have a good lifestyle, stop adding debt, but make an extra 150, 200, $250 a month in a side hustle or even more. Make that every month, apply that to your debt snowball. It really helps out, right? Or if you want to supercharge a savings plan, you want to add a little bit more to your tax-free savings, like I help clients with your 401k, your IRA, maybe funding a child or a grandchild's savings plan, right? A side hustle is a good way to have some extra income there. A lot of times you have a hobby that could already pay. There's a lot of talk on YouTube about just turn the camera on. Myron Golden says that a lot, right? Just turn the camera on. Folks like Ray, Martha Stewart, all these ladies that have channels, friends of mine that are good cooks, friends of mine that are good mechanics. Just turn the camera on and you could post it to YouTube. You could write about it. There are all kinds of ways to turn that into a side hustle. Maybe you can make things. And my wife is really good at that. She's good with hand tools and she likes working with wood. So she's had a number of side hustles that are woodwork related. She's had a partnership. Now she has a LLC or a company. So, and the other thing is, as you do that, you can create tax write offs. I drove to dinner. I'm sitting outside of a Panda Express. I'm going to order some dinner here in just a minute. But because I'm shooting this video and I'm trying to get monetized on YouTube, the mileage here, I mean, it's only like a mile and a half to my house. I've walked here before, but that counts as a business trip, right? Anything you do for a business, if your intent is to make money, you don't necessarily have to make money. Now, there are IRS rules that you have to make a profit out of a certain number of years. Then you risk being audited. You risk it being declared a hobby and not a business. But if yeah, I've heard from people, I've never been audited. I'm not a tax expert, but you could turn a side hustle into a business, generate more write offs than you make, even though you've gotten cash out of it, but you can turn other activities into tax write offs. So sometimes I've had a couple side hustles that have never made money. I either stop claiming them on my taxes or I claim them, but it's such a small amount that if I get audited and the IRS comes after me and says, hey, you claimed $1,000 in write offs, I'm like, okay, how big is the check I owe you, right? $70, $200. And I got the tax refund 5 to 10 years ago. I'm not saying cheat on your taxes. I'm saying use the business write-off rules for your favor. Since I did mention I'm trying to get this YouTube channel monetized, let me go ahead right now and ask, hey, if you like this video, if you like my content, would love to have you mash that like button, hit that subscribe button, give me a comment, and that'll encourage me to keep making this kind of content, right? So, talked about side hustles. Now, one thing is a lot of us have certain questions when we're either presented an opportunity, presented an entrepreneurial opportunity or chance, or we think about a side hustle, right? Whatever it is. I mean, in my case, it's creating content for YouTube and other websites, possibly writing a book. And the first question is, can I do it? Well, Obviously, I can't do it as well as someone who's already written 20 or 30 books and is gives paid presentations and speeches and does a TEDx talk that's watched by 1.3 million people. But I can get started and I can do it at this level and hopefully over time get better. So, can I do it is the first question. Does it work? Well, most side hustles work if you work them. It may not work for you if it's something that you're not going to do, right? There's certain side hustles that I am not going to do. I mean, I may get back involved in rental real estate, but I've been a landlord before, and I didn't particularly enjoy it. So fixing and flipping houses, or fixing houses and renting them out, is a great side hustle to build wealth over time. It works. I'm not going to work it. So you see the distinction there. But does it work? Odds are it does, or it would stop being a side hustle that many people use and you find out about. And then, is it simple enough for me to learn? Can I learn what it takes to make this profitable? Well, this is Clipchamp. You mash two buttons and start recording. Even if I was going to edit this, I don't do a lot of editing on my videos, so I don't have to learn editing software. I use PowerPoint to make my thumbnails if they're not just screen captures that YouTube auto generates. So, it's simple enough now to make better videos. If I wanted to be going in and out from screen captures, yes, that takes a little bit more technology. I have done that with a few videos. I've made different looking thumbnails, but it's simple enough to at least get started, at least here on YouTube. It's simple enough to get started writing for websites if you like to write. It's simple enough to do woodwork if you've already done some woodwork as a hobby. So in that case, that answers those questions. So let me now transition. I'm going to jump into talking about my 8 side hustles. Now, not all 8. Again, does it work? Yes. Am I working them? Not all 8 of them. So I'll go through those. I'll talk to you, and I'll share with you a little bit about how much I'm making from these side hustles. It's not a humble brag. I'm not trying to show off. I had a very good month in my main side hustle. So it is going to be a sizable amount of money for a side hustle because it's also a very well paying side hustle. And I'll get to that in a moment. But I want to show you when I said, does it work? Well, these are 3 of mine are working. Now, one of them, it's tiny amount of money. So we'll get to that. So let's go through these 8 side hustles that I'm using right now. So the first side hustle, the main side hustle, and this is the big one. I have an independent insurance agency, the Alford Agency, that's part of Five Rings Financial. Now, it is a little more complicated than some side hustles. I did have to get a life insurance license. I do have to learn product mix and do product training with the companies I write business for. I have to know how to assess my client's financial position, their financial desires, even some of their personal desires, because money and other things, interlock in our life. But I enjoy that. I mean, that's why I have a whole playlist and financial, content, financial literacy, because I enjoy that. But last month, I helped a friend with a IRA rollover, and then I also wrote some smaller policies with some other friends, and had a very good month. I had my gross income from that side hustle, working between 5 and 10 hours a week, was $3,886. So that's really good, right, for a side hustle. Other months I don't make that much, but now I've been doing that side hustle for so long with Five Rings Financial that almost every week I get what are called trails, and those are small amounts of income from policies and programs, savings programs that have been put in place over the years. And I don't currently have any agents underneath me writing business, but I have had some in the past. And actually, there's business that they wrote with other trainers in our company, not me, that I also get paid on. I might get paid like 25 cents a month, but that's 25 cents a month that I didn't even do the work years ago for. So that's my main side hustle. And someday that will most likely be my career when I'm done being a Navy contractor. I retired from the Navy almost 15 years ago. I've been a Navy and defense contractor since then. That's my main source of income. Over time, though, the Five Rings Financial Alford Agency may become my primary income, and then I do just consulting work or no work at all in the defense contracting space. But that was my main side hustle. Side hustle number 2 is I write for a website called Seeking Alpha. It's a financial and investment analysis website. So again, that's in my niche or niche. or a niche, if you want it, however you pronounce that word, right? I have a video on it where I also talk about how to pronounce that word. But that's easy for me because I know how to read a financial statement. I know how to evaluate an investment. Obviously, it's from my point of view and my opinion. But it's something that I can write on. There's tons of opportunities like that out there for you to write if you choose to. If you don't mind sitting and writing, you can write novels even in short stories and publish those. I'm not familiar with exactly how Substack works, but I've heard that's another avenue for people who enjoy writing. And I believe it's not like Seeking Alpha where it's just financial. But Seeking Alpha compensates you two ways. It compensates you by subscriber page views, like YouTube, like a lot of other websites that pay by view. And then if you write on an undercovered stock or investment idea, they pay you a premium up to $65 per article. Well, last month I wrote 2 articles that qualified for that full premium of $65. And I had previous articles, one I'd written just at the end of March, that kept getting a high number of page views. So I had one of my best months ever on Seeking Alpha, and I made $252.33. Now, Seeking Alpha is a lot like the AdSense program here on YouTube, being a YouTube partner, like other sites like Amazon affiliates or other affiliate programs. You have to make over $100, and they pay you during the next month. So in April, I got my March check, right, deposited into my account. In March, I got $192.38 in page views and articles written, that qualified for premium payments. So I got that payment in April, and that payment is used. I'm using that in a debt snowball. So later in May, I will get a 252 and 33 cents payment from Seeking Alpha. Probably this weekend, I'll begin writing my first article for May. I intend to publish at least 2 articles. I might even publish more frequently, slowly ramp it up to where I'm publishing. I'm not sure I'll ever get to 1 article a week, but I'll try to get close, 3 to 4 articles a month. My goal with Seeking Alpha and all my other side businesses besides the offered agency 5 Rings Financial is make enough to pay $250 to $400 to paying down debts, paying off cars, things like that. My third side hustle that made a little bit of money, and this is a tiny amount, but I sold some clothing items I have that I've never worn. I bought them to go to the field with, was issued them to go to the field with, and not military, civilian stuff. And I sold one item on Poshmark for $9.05, right? And I'm not doing Poshmark to make a lot of money. I'm actually doing it to move some of this stuff to somebody who can use it. And actually, in April, I used some of the money I've made. I've been on Poshmark about 12 weeks because they track if you post every week, you qualify for like a small token. I think this week I qualified for reduced shipping on my next order if I ordered this week. Well, last week I bought 2 shirts on there with money I made selling other stuff. So, right, $9.05 isn't going to move the needle for us financially, but it's kind of fun to have 2 new shirts. They're slightly used. They're shirts like this one. This isn't one of the shirts I bought. But it's shirts like this for casual wear, right? These aren't shirts I'm going to wear to a dressy event. I'm not going to wear them to like a wedding or a very important business meeting. Uh, but for just everyday wear, and I bought those 2 shirts with money I made on Poshmark. All right, so talk about YouTube, because YouTube is my side hustle number 4. I am growing this channel, but right now my YouTube channel is not monetized. I don't market anything for sale. Obviously, in the descriptions, I'll post some links to my channel and to the Seeking Alpha articles and things like that. So I am kind of sponsoring my own video here, but I haven't monetized YouTube yet. But I'm building my content. I'm building my ability to do this on camera. So, that's pretty much side hustle number 4. And to be honest, I put more time into YouTube and being active on other YouTube channels and posts and learning about how to improve my videos and my content, right? So I put more time into YouTube than I do Poshmark, as probably about as much time as I do Seeking Alpha, because, only writing 2, maybe 3 articles a month really doesn't take that much time. And I made $252. Aiming to get monetized on YouTube this year. I'm having a good year so far. I have a pretty significant amount of watch time. I'm not up to the 3,000 hours yet for the first YouTube partner, but I'm not at 500 subscribers yet either. I'm at 394 today. I've been averaging one subscriber a day or more for all of 2025. But obviously, with 394 subscribers, I got to pick that up. Hopefully, I'll have a video, maybe this one, pop and get, multiple hundreds of subscribers, maybe push me over those monetization thresholds. But my aim is to keep putting out content that's useful and valuable, especially in the financial literacy space, but also get monetized. And, if it happens this year, that's my goal. But I love Myron Golden. I'm going to talk about him in just a second. Uh, but Myron Golden has said, he doesn't set goals. He doesn't say, my business made this much last year. We had this many subscribers on YouTube. We had this many people at my conferences. I want to have this many. His goal is, I want to become the person that has all those things. And I really liked that. It was a great talk he put in one of his videos. And it makes a lot of sense, right? Because if you become that person, they can't take that away. I could lose a YouTube channel for some dumb reason or decide to rebrand it, but I start a new channel. But if I'm the kind of person that can build a YouTube channel, I'll build a new channel. It's like the saying, there are people out there that, well, this is free advice, has nothing to do with side hustles. But, people that become financially and business successes, if they do it the right way and they become the person to be a success, not just successful in that one-time deal, well, if that goes away, they can become a success all over again. Or they become even more successful. Like, we always hear those stories. Somebody built this great business, this great industry, this great website, whatever, and it crashed or they got bought out. But then they went and did something similar but different, and it became way more successful. Or like the story of Steve Jobs, builds Apple, his own company fires him. He gets the chance to come back in, buys everybody else out, and builds the Apple that we know today. Now, obviously, Tim Cook has done a lot for that as well. But, the Steve Jobs story is one we all know. Okay, so let's get back to the side hustles. The next side hustle, and I just got this started back up. I have an Amazon affiliate account. I don't sell things that are mine on Amazon. I just recommend other products. The pros and cons of that are pretty obvious. You can watch a lot of other videos, but why not do it, right? If it's stuff that I already use, I can post a link on Facebook or LinkedIn or mention it in a video. Now, the challenge is the Amazon affiliate program a number of years ago, probably right around COVID, if I remember right, drastically chopped their payouts. So the biggest payout I've seen on anything I've recommended yet is 4.5%. And I think that was my sister's book. I might post a link to that in the comments. It's a teen mystery thriller series that she wrote. It's actually really good. And I mean, she writes some stuff in there that I'm like, wow, you don't have any exposure to that, but you did your research and it's realistic. It's not just for teenagers, but she wrote it for a young adult reader. Partly because she's an educator as well, and she knows that that group needs books they want to read. But they're pretty interesting books. But if I sold one of my sister's books through that link, I would get 4.5%. And also, Amazon, like Seeking Alpha, like others, doesn't pay out until you earn over $100. Plus, you have to make three non-sales to my family within 100. I think I want to say 90 days or 180 days, or they kick you out. You start all over. Well, if you're making anywhere from 1 to 4 to 4.5% per sale, it's going to take you a long time, right? Unless you sell a lot of some big ticket item. Now, some people do make money. They also sell electronic content on Amazon. I'm not an expert on that. I might spend some more time learning about it, but that right now is just kind of for fun to see if I can sell some stuff. I do know it's a numbers game. So far my links on the Amazon affiliate have only garnered like 35 or 40 clicks. So it'd be unrealistic to think I've sold a whole lot of stuff, right? I'm thinking I probably need 50 to 100 clicks to sell an item, but I'll track that, right? And if you're doing that, if you're an Amazon affiliate and you're doing well with it, I'd love to hear it in the comments below, right? We can all get smarter and better together. So let's talk about the last few of my side hustles. I am a Myron Golden affiliate. I was going to bring my copy of From Trash Man to Cash Man with me because I just finished it in April. That was my main goal. I watch an awful lot of his videos here on YouTube. I have been to the Make More Offers Challenge. I would recommend it. When I signed up for it, I signed 2 other people with me, and the way he does his affiliate program, for the basic things, he gives you a 50% payout minus a small, administrative fee. So when I got 2 other people to sign up for the Make More Offers Challenge, I got to attend basically for free. So I can offer the Make More Offers Challenge. I can offer his books. I'll put those links in the comments. And he does. He pays out 50% for the basics. So like the books, the Make More Offers Challenge, some other things like that. And I mean, a 50% affiliate commission is amazing. So I'll continue to recommend that. But in April, I made zero. I didn't market much of his stuff. I think I shared the link once, right? And that's not working. It does work though. I have gotten a payment from Myron Golden Enterprises. The last 2 side hustles, I'm not working these at all right now. Remember when I mentioned that some side hustles work, but you have to be the kind of person that'll work them? I am not a network marketer, but I got affiliated with a company called Savvy. A couple that I got my start with in financial services actually helped develop Savvy into the powerhouse that it was in athleisure wear. Then Savvy, a friend of mine also was in Canada, and she was going to be part of their expansion into Canada. But then that never really got off the ground, especially not for her and her team. But I signed up under her, and I know that couple. But then a little while after I signed up, a company called My Daily Choice, or MDC, Savvy and MDC merged. And so for a while, they were one company. And My Daily Choice has tons and tons of products besides Savvy. So I'm actually a My Daily Choice affiliate as well. So I can market those products. Now, what's happened is that merger has been unwound. And at the same time, Savvy decided they're no longer going to be a network marketing company. They are also now an affiliate marketing company. So I can still market their products and get an affiliate commission, or I can use my credit from when I signed up to buy items and use them for raffle prices, for samples, for gifts. But I didn't work Savvy or My Daily Choice at all. I haven't worked them at all this year. So even though they're side hustles, right, I'm not actively working them. But that's how I get to 8. So to recap, I have the side hustles that I'm working. Probably the busiest week for all 3 of them would have been 15 or 20 hours. With that's, some time being spent at night and on the weekend shooting both YouTube videos, writing a Seeking Alpha article, getting it published, tracking it through that process, and then doing training and appointments and events with 5 Rings Financial Offered Agency. But all these are part-time. All these I set my own schedule, and I made the grand total is $4,147.48. So that's it, right? That's I don't know if that's going to be a really good month. I don't know if May. It's only May 3rd. I don't want to start saying, oh, May's not going to be a good month, but I do know actually where some of my business work is at. Again, don't know if I'll monetize this channel in May. Don't know if the Seeking Alpha articles will do quite as well with page views, but my goal is to make between $200 and $400 other than the offered agency, and then make $2,000 to $4,000 from the offered agency with the business I have pending. It should be about that. Might actually be a little bit more. I will come back in late May or early June. I mean, I'll have some other videos between now and then, but I'll definitely have some content on side hustles every month, giving you an update and also tracking how I'm doing on getting YouTube monetized. It's about to get dark here, but I'm going to pin that comment. I would love to hear from you if you do side hustles. If you have one that's really working for you that you think others can do, if it's one of mine that I'm not necessarily monetizing yet, I'd love to hear what you're doing. Or if it's a completely different idea, put that down in the comments, share with us. It might even be something that you are an affiliate marketer or you're a writer of that I'd love to find out about and throw some business your way. Hey, thanks everybody, and we will catch you next time.